Hello, this is our final video with our color blending worksheet. We're going to be ending with the analogous color scheme. Looking at our color wheel, an analogous color scheme is made up of 3 or more neighboring colors. So that means any 3 or more colors that are directly next to each other on the color wheel. For my example, I'm going to be sticking with a color scheme surrounding green. So we're going to have a yellow, a green, and a blue. And then as we blend those colors together, we will inevitably get our tertiary colors sitting in between. So we're going to be starting with our cylinder shape. I have an example of a cylinder, and we'll look at how light affects the surfaces of a cylinder form. So here we have an example of a cylinder form. So it has a flat but rounded surface on the outside. And looking at it, so there's a light coming in from the top here. So this is the area that is the lightest, with our midtone being right in this area, perpendicular to the light source, the quarter tone filling in that space in between, and our base tone is on the side that isn't hit by the light. On the inside we have the reverse. Our highlight is on the side farthest from our light source, moving with the same areas of value, ending with the base tone. So when we go to fill in our cylinders on our worksheet, we're going to be using those same areas of value, except they're going to be reduced to just vertical strips that lay across the surface of our cylinders. So let's jump right in. First, we'll identify where our light source is. For this shape, we're going to be having our light source come in from this direction, meaning if we begin to identify those areas of value, our highlight is going to be situated in between this area. Our highlight is going to be situated in this area. Midtone will be again perpendicular to our light source, meaning it's going to take up this area right in here, and then our base tone will be in the back. Along this side we will have our midtone. So being an analogous color scheme, we're going to be combining 3 colors. Another way of doing this is using just the 2 primaries, because when you overlap 2 primary colors, you'll get the secondary color, which will complete your analogous color scheme. What I'll do to start is fill in that mid-tone to quarter tone range with a light layer of yellow.
You deserve reward. Here is your cat back, good as new. Cat's back for everyone.
I had a dog.
He's cat now.
Now I'm going to add that blue to our base tone. And I'll begin to move that color also into our mid-tone area. So where the 2 colors cross, we'll get that green. And that will complete our mid-tone. Adding a second layer will make our hues darker. As we still need to match our value scale, meaning our base tone is still going to try and get into that 75 to 50 range. Our mid-tone is going to be a 50% range, and our quarter tone will be in that 25. Working through this, we'll keep going back and forth between layers of yellow and blue until we get to the values that we need.
I had a dog.
He's cat now. He's cat now.
I had a dog.
He's cat now. I am Lugash. Pink of floor is full of snakes. You fool! They kill you! Pink of floor is full of snakes. Snakes! Bravo, little girl! Cat's back for everyone! He's cat now!
I had a dog.
He's cat now!
Okay, so as we can see, we clearly have a defined blue, green, and yellow in our analogous form here. We've also refined our highlight quarter tone and moving into that yellow-green midtone, as well as our dark blue base tone. And now in our cylinder, we can begin to work out the value areas on that inside. So it's going to be just the opposite of what we did on the outside, having our highlight right around here, quarter tone sitting just next to it, then our mid-tone being in this range, and the base tone finishing off right around the edges. Again, this is the same process that we went through on the outer surface. So we'll start with a light layer of yellow, and then we'll switch back and forth between our yellows and our blues. And that'll do it for the surface of our cylinder. I'm going to go ahead and just fill in this cast shadow here, which will be completely in blue. Again, on the inside, I wanted to make sure that I had clearly defined my areas of blue, green, and yellow, as well as our areas of value, the highlight, the quarter tone, the mid-tone, the base tone, and finally our cast shadow. And that wraps up our analogous cylinder. The final form on our worksheet is another analogous color scheme, but on a sphere. So I'll go ahead and do that in a time lapse. Check out the video on the complementary sphere if you want a review of how light falling on a sphere creates areas of value. But I'm going to wrap this up by filling in our analogous sphere. So I'll see you next time.
Involving the boogeyman. The boogeyman. I don't want to alarm you, but there may be a boogeyman or boogeyman in the house. Huh? What? Lisa, what's up?
I just had a bad dream. I know it's absurd, but I dreamed the boogeyman was after me.
Boogeyman! You nail the window shut. I'll get the gun. Just a little incident involving the boogeyman. The boogeyman. I don't want to alarm you, but there may be a boogeyman or boogeyman in the house. Just a little incident involving the boogeyman.